Hello, and welcome to another episode of Grammy's Protein Kitchen. I've been on a health journey since 2024 and have been able to lose about 70 pounds with the help of a GLP-1 medication. Today, I'm getting ready to make some quiche. We're doing a luncheon at work, and our theme is an afternoon tea party. So I said I would bring quiche. I'm going to make 3 different types of quiche, and I'm going to make them in a small pie plate. I'm going to make 2 of each flavor, and I'm going to cook them and then take them into work, and I can microwave them because my pie plate is ceramic and microwave safe. So they're going to, each pie can serve 4, and so I'm going to make those up. But first I'm going to start with making the dough for the quiche. My recipe that I have in my book says to mix it up and let it chill for at least 2 hours. It could be chilled up to 2 days. So I'm going to make my dough tonight, and then I'm going to put it in the refrigerator until tomorrow, and then we'll be back tomorrow to make them. And then the next day we'll have them at lunch at work. And I won't be doing a taste test tomorrow after they're baked, but I'll let you know how they turned out. So first off, you do it in the food processor. So I have my food processor here, and the recipe calls for 9 tablespoons of butter, 2 tablespoons I grated with my box grater. That's sitting in the freezer right now because it says to freeze it after I do that. The 7 tablespoons I chopped into, it says 1/2-inch pieces, cubes, so I have those here. I need 1 1/4 cups of flour, and that's in this bowl. We'll be dividing that up a little bit, and I have a tablespoon of sugar, and then I also have some ice water that we're going to use. This crust recipe will make 2 pie crusts that would fit, 2 single crusts that would fit in those sheets. So I'm going to have to mix up more than this, but I'm only going to mix 1 up on camera and see how it goes. Maybe I should have mixed them up first and then the last one on camera, but we're going to try it out for everybody to see how it goes. This is the 1 1/4 cups of flour, and I need to put 3/4 of a cup of flour into my food processor first. So let me put that in. And there we go. And I'm also supposed to add the sugar. Oh, I missed the salt. A 1/2 teaspoon of table salt. So let me get out 1/2 teaspoon. And there's my salt. And throw that in there. Okay. And I need to mix this just a little bit to combine it. It says 2 pulses. I'm using my Ninja food processor here. So it's not on there right. Let's try this again. Let's see. There we go. That's on there right. I know that was 3, but there's that. And then I need to add the butter, the cubed butter, and grab this scraper. Okay. And that's in there. And then it says about 30 seconds. and that it'll form a paste. It looks like it's coming together now. Okay, let's then spread that out a little bit better and do it again. I only have the single blade. I could have done the double blade, but I didn't think I would need the double blade. Maybe I do. And I put the lid on that way. Let's see. And it says about adding the rest of the flour. So I think I can do that at this point. Okay. And let's put the lid back on. Yeah, that was wonderful, wasn't it? Made a little volcano there. I should have used a bigger one, I guess, too. Let's knock that down a little bit. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, then it should be crumbly, right? And we're going to put this all into this little bowl. Dough in here. Get the rest of this dough out of here. Okay. And get the butter out of the freezer. And that's my grated butter. And it says to toss that in with the, until it gets all coated with the flour stuff. Okay. And then I sprinkle 2 tablespoons of ice water over the mixture. And here's my tablespoon measuring spoon. Okay. And I go over that again. And mix that all. It's saying toss. I'm not sure what exactly. I'm guessing this is tossing it because it's not really stirring it. Okay, and then it says sprinkle remaining 2 tablespoons of ice water over the mixture, toss to combine, pressing dough with the spatula until dough sticks together. Okay. So Yeah, this is more becoming dough. Okay, that definitely is looking like dough. Now I'm going to divide it in half. It seems really sticky. Okay, and then I put each half in plastic wrap and then what does it say I'm supposed to do with this? Working with one portion at a time, draw edge of the plastic over the dough and press firmly on sides and top to form a compact fissure-free mass. Wrap in plastic wrap and flatten to form a 4-inch ball. Okay, so here is my dough, and that's going to go into the refrigerator, and tomorrow we'll work on the rest of this, and I'll see you then. Okay, now we're ready to roll the dough. It's the next day, and I did 3 a while, and I was like, boy, this is really rough. Then it always helps if you read the instructions that you're supposed to let it sit out for about 10 minutes before you roll it. So I let the rest of it sit out, and now I'm going to roll some more and set that aside because we're going to have to chill it again. I'm going to, after I have it rolled and in the pie plate, I'll put the plastic wrap back over it, and then we'll pop it in the refrigerator for, I forget how long it says, about 30 minutes, and then we'll bake it in the oven. So let me just get this going here. I guess this could still be a little bit softer. I don't think it's quite 10 minutes, but it's not cracking like it was the other ones that I did, or as much anyway. I see some cracking in it. But then I was just pushing the pieces together. Good, I know it's going to go back in the refrigerator and chill back up so the softened butter will harden again. Flip that again. I've never been good at doing pie crust, so this is stretching me. I usually buy the Pillsbury and in the box and unroll it, and okay, I'll put it in the pie plate. And I'll trim off the edges. And between all my pie crusts that I've done, I may have enough to do another one. So we'll have to see how that works out then. And then I just pinch and crimp the edges. And if it breaks apart, I just squeeze it back into place. And work around the pie. Okay. And then I'll cover that with the plastic wrap. And I'm going to keep on working. But and then I'm going to stick these in the refrigerator, and I'll be back when we're ready to put them in the oven. Okay, before I rolled the last lump of dough, I weighed it on my scale, and it was not quite 6 ounces. It was 5 point something ounces. So all my scraps that I cut off, and I probably have a lot of scraps because I made 3 batches of the dough. So you probably wouldn't have this much dough left over. But I've got all but 11 ounces here. So I'm going to cut this in half, and I'm going to make the discs out of it, and I'm going to freeze it because the recipe says that you can freeze the dough for later. So I'll have 2 dough discs that I'll be able to use for another pie at some point in time. So that's my plan now. Now the rest of the crusts are in the refrigerator. I'll let those go for a little bit, and then before I stick them in the oven, we'll be back. Okay, the pie shells have finished chilling. I pulled them out of the refrigerator, and it says to line them with aluminum foil and put pie weights in. I don't have any pie weights, so I'm hoping that just the aluminum foil will be fine. So I'm going to line these up, and I'm going to put them in the oven, and they bake for, I just looked at that, 25 to 30 minutes. And then while they're baking, I'm going to finish working on my fillings. I have 3 different kinds of quiche I'm doing. So I really only have to pre-cook the bacon and onions for the one. So, and it says to do that while everything's baking, and I'm supposed to put the filling into the warm pie tray as pie shells. So hopefully I can get that done. I've got my bowls all ready to go. I'm going to have them all mixed together, and when we pull them out, hopefully I can just scoop the stuff in and we can get them right back in the oven again. But I do have the oven preheated for 375 degrees, and I can get 3 plates on these cookie sheets, and I can fit these cookie sheets side by side in my oven. So let me get these in the oven. And that one wanted to come out. Okay. They're in the oven. Now let me set the timer for 25 minutes. And then let's get this bacon going. And it says to cook it on medium-low heat until crisp. So I am doubling the recipe because I'm making 2 of these. You would normally have 2 slices of bacon. I have 4 slices of bacon cut in 1/4 inch strips. So I'm throwing that in my frying pan. It's not quite warm enough yet, but that's okay. It'll start cooking when it gets warmer. I went to get a plate out to put the bacon on when it's done. And let me get some paper towels. Okay. So there's my paper towel lined plate to put that on. I'm going to just set that on the cooling rack over here for keep it out of my way. I have, let me put the aluminum foil away. And I should have gotten the measuring cup out. 1 1/3. Okay. All right. So okay. Each recipe calls for 2/3 of a cup, a half. So since I'm doubling the recipe, I need 1 1/3 cups. Okay. Put that in there. And then put that back there. I need 2 eggs, so I need 4 eggs since I'm doubling it. Okay, rinse the egg off my fingers. Okay, then mix that together. Then I need to add some, it said to either use fresh parsley or fresh chives. I would have preferred the chives, but my grocery store was out of them. So I have parsley, and it says 2 teaspoons. Think I can find the teaspoon? Got too much stuff in this drawer. Well, I'm finding half a teaspoon. There's a teaspoon. Okay, so I need 2 teaspoons of fresh parsley. And it says 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt and 1/8 of a teaspoon of pepper. So I've got a 1/4 teaspoon here. And there's that. And this is the classic cheese quiche. So all I'm adding to this one is cheese. And this is New York extra sharp. And put that there. Okay, so there's the filling for the first quiche. And then as soon as the shells come out of the oven, that will be ready to go. And then let me grab another bowl. Let me put my whisk in there. I'm going to set this one over there. for now. Turn the light on here. Okay. All right. Then my next one is going to be the ham and Swiss quiche. Again, I need 1 1/3 cups of half and half since I am doubling the recipe. Okay. And there's that. And again, I need 4 eggs since I'm doubling the recipe. And I will put the single recipe ingredients shown on the screen like I usually do, but know that it's going to be different because I'm doubling the recipe for work's sake. This is a cookbook that I have baking for 2, which is why it's smaller than a regular pie. But as we become just 2 in the household instead of 5 like it was for many years, we don't need big baking dishes and stuff. So I got this cookbook with baking for 2 and figured that would be good because you don't need huge cakes if you're just the 2 of you eating it. And then you don't have to worry about having stuff that goes bad and you throw away. So this is the egg mixture here. And again, I need 2 teaspoons of the parsley and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and pepper. And I have about 4 ounces of ham chopped up. And I have about 4 ounces of Swiss cheese that I have shredded up. Okay. And let's give that a good mix. Okay. And let me get the other bowl for my whisk. And let me put this over here. Okay. I am going to turn the bacon up a little. Measured my last 1 1/3 cups of half and half. And my last 4 eggs. Okay. Give my hands a quick rinse. Okay. Great. Might as well beat these eggs and half together. And add my parsley, and I have way more parsley here than I needed. Just set this over here. And I have 4 ounces of Gruyere and cheddar blend. Add that to my eggs. And add my salt and pepper. Okay, and give that a mix. And the bacon and the onion's gonna go in this then too. But we need to get the bacon cooked good first. It's getting there. And I'll give each of the bowls a good whisk then before I scoop it into the pie plates. Okay, that's starting to crisp up good. Give it a couple more minutes because I have to cook up the onion yet too in the bacon grease. In most of the bacon grease, I'm going to get some of it out. Okay. Let me get a spoon, that'll make it easier. Okay. I'm just going to get some paper towel here and soak up some of this grease with the paper towel. I'm supposed to leave about a tablespoon's worth here. Okay, that looks good now. Let me turn it back down a little bit. Let me throw the onion in here. That smells good. Okay, let me stick my other cooling rack over on the counter over here. And I have a ladle to scoop out the egg mixtures so we can keep them even. This was the recipe called for a 1/4 cup. So doubling it was a 1/2 cup of onions, and I just used a small onion. I didn't really measure it. They're definitely softened. I see brown in there from the bacon. Don't know that the onions are lightly browned yet. And the pie shells have about a little over 4 minutes to go. You get some pot holders out, so we're ready to pull those out of the oven when they're done. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. I am going to dump this onto the bacon just so that it has a chance to cool a little bit before it hits the eggs, because I didn't want it to scramble the eggs when it hits. So since it's going in with the bacon, I figured we can let it all sit together and cool a little bit. Okay, it's got a couple seconds yet. There we go. I can pull those out of the oven. Okay, put one on this cooling rack. And put the other one on this cooling rack. And I'll turn that a little bit. Now I'm supposed to change the temperature from 375 to 350. Come on. Okay. And I think that's okay that I didn't have pie weights. They look okay. Let me just set those there because I'll just reuse that then. So let me start with the regular quiche, the classic quiche, and give that another little stir. And this will go into 2 of the pie plates. And I have my ladle here. Figured that I'd get more mixture into them, more evenly distributed. I could get the pieces when I have the meat and stuff. Now, it looks like my pie plates are too small because I still have mixture left. But we will leave it like that for now. Maybe I'll combine it and make a big one or something. Okay, I was going to whisk it around. I didn't whisk it, but okay. And then let me grab one of these. Okay. And let me add the bacon and the onion mixture to the other bowl. Stick that there. And maybe that's why I had extra pie dough too, because my pie plates are small. But it was supposed to be, and what did it say? A 6-inch pie plate. Okay. All right, and then this goes in for 30 to 40 minutes. And okay, let's set the timer for 30 minutes and see how that goes. And I'll be back when that's ready to come out. Okay, there's that timer. Let's hit that. It said the middle still look jiggly, but if you put a knife in an inch from the edge and it comes out clean. Okay, that came out clean. So let's pull these out, and then they need to sit. And it says just let them sit out for a half an hour to an hour, and then they finish cooking out of the oven. And now, I did look over the recipe, and it did tell me, if I'd have looked at it closer, that I may have the filling left over. So I got some other containers, and I'm making some crustless quiche that I'm putting in the oven, and we'll have those for dinner probably tomorrow before we go for our bowling. So let me put that in for another 30 minutes. But these are done, and I will let you know tomorrow how they taste. Okay, I just realized as I'm getting ready to edit the video today, on the quiches that I didn't give any information about how they tasted and the calorie content and stuff from them. They were great. The crust was really, really flaky and good. I'm definitely going to use that recipe for other pie crusts. Everybody at work loved it. They thought they were great. The classic cheese quiche had 330 calories, 10 grams of protein, and the ham and Swiss quiche had 350 calories and 13 grams of protein. And then the quiche Lorraine had 390 calories, 12 grams of protein, and that had 1 gram of fiber. But all in all, they were great. I have one quiche that I wrapped in plastic wrap that we didn't touch at work. I wrapped it in plastic wrap and I have it in the freezer in a bag. I also have the quiche that I did without the crust, the extra egg mixture. I baked those in the glass containers. I put the lids on them, and I do have those in the freezer also that I can come and grab those at some point. But all in all, they were a big hit. Not as high a protein in them as I would have normally gone for in a high protein recipe, but wasn't bad. And so I'll make them again. My favorite was the quiche Lorraine with the bacon and onion in it, and that one was really good. I enjoyed that one a lot. And again, if you have ideas of recipes that you would like to see, if we can make them high protein, let me know in the comments. I have some ideas coming up, so the next one might be one of those kind of things. And remember to like and subscribe. It helps me out. And I will catch you next time, and enjoy.